Hi, it's Halu. Most scouts suck at Scout v Soldier. Today I want to break down why that is, what top scouts actually do differently, and how to fix your pathing so that you can win these fights consistently. From a soldier's point of view, playing against the average scout player is very simple. They spot you, half straight to height, jump back and forth until you waste your rockets, and then push you. And while this is obviously a losing strategy against capable soldiers, it's where the majority of bad habits in really good scouts come from. All you have to do against these players is to hold your rockets for whenever they are climbing around terrain, pre-fire the spots you know they will cross, and occasionally change your timing to throw them off. For newer TF2 players, this is probably the first FPS they've ever touched, where dodging projectiles with splash damage is constant. Naturally, they don't trust their dodging, so their default solution is to run to height or cover where they can't get splashed. The problem is that these players never actually learn how to dodge on flat ground. They end up relying entirely on positioning and usually plateau around main. Terrain can still be useful, but for most scouts it isn't intentional, it's just a way to cover up a skill issue. That's why ammo mod is the best test. No height, no cheesy positions, just your movement versus their aim, and if your pathing's weak, you'll get shit on. Pathing is how you route your movement during a 1v1. Most players make the mistake of thinking about their path as some set route towards positioning, when in reality, pathing is meant to break the timing of how a projectile player reads your movement, which requires you to anticipate where the soldier will shoot and adjust your route in the moment to throw them off. This might sound difficult, but all you really need to know is when they are going to shoot and having awareness of the movement you just did so that you understand what they are going to be aiming for. Pathing is easiest against soldiers who shoot all 4 rockets on min cooldown, since their timing is straightforward and you can easily predict where they are going to shoot as you move around the map. For example, in this clip, the moment I spot this innocent pubber, I move right knowing that I was already moving left, which allows me to dodge the rocket. However, better soldiers purposely hold their rockets so that scouts can't predict their timing. The counter to this is to force them to shoot by doing as much damage as early as possible in a 1v1. A soldier with a full buff can afford to tank a few 30 damage shots if it means they can land one high damage rocket, while a soldier with 100 HP can't. Which is why you generally don't want to play far away from soldiers in a 1v1, since while you have more time to react to their rockets, you are making it much easier for them to time their shots and win the damage exchange. Really good soldiers are aware of this and naturally try to deny space in front of them when fighting a scout to stop them from applying pressure and to zone them into a predictable area. This means 2 things. Pathing forward or towards height can easily be baited, and soldiers are more likely to miss from overreacting to forward movements than from lateral ones. There are exceptions, of course, like if a soldier is chasing you through a doorway, but generally this is the case in most 1v1s. In areas that are purely flat ground, like ammo mod, moving in diagonals into and away from a soldier's side is a reliable way to force misreads on distance or angle. These triangle patterns are also applicable with terrain as long as you rotate fast enough to not get splashed. Good soldiers often hold their mouse still after firing a rocket so that the scout strafes or double jumps back into the second rocket. In all these examples, Oak is trying to bait me while he's in the center of my vision, which doesn't work out. There are 2 workarounds. The first is to try to avoid retracing your path often, and the other is to move out of their vision cone. In this clip, after I bait a pre-fire, I expect JT to slow down and hold his mouse still, so I continue to rotate around his vision cone. This isn't exclusive to soldiers either. Here, I purposely look away from where I'm strafing and use flicks so that Slemnish continues to hold his mouse still, which allows me to push his side and dodge all of his scattergun. Some scouts rely on surfing rockets for extra time. but any decent soldier will shoot slightly forward so that the surf sends you backwards. Surfing should be a last resort in a 1v1 and not a consistent strategy, since dodging cleanly is almost always better. If you do surf or get launched, avoid double jumping at the apex of your momentum, since it kills your speed and will often put you in a bad position. In this clip, I get launched backwards, and instead of jumping forward and catching a direct, I continue to surf backwards and avoid the air shot. Another thing to note is that you should try to have line of sight with the soldier at all times. Helps with being able to do more damage consistently, as well as making it easier to play against shotgun soldiers, since you can change how you dodge the moment they switch weapons. Playing ammo mod is the best practice for this matchup, obviously, but besides that, playing soldier and demo against scouts is also important. You'll start noticing all the awful patterns scouts have in their movement, and it makes it way easier to notice when you're doing the same thing. That's why almost every top invite scout with strong DM is also a solid projectile player, and vice versa. Just keep in mind that these players probably have thousands of hours more than you, and most of their reads come from pure experience, like knowing every pre-fire angle that a scout double jumps in. Lastly, play jump maps. So much of ammo mod is about staying accurate while moving in weird, complex patterns, and jump maps are perfect for building that control and flow. I hope this video helps you, and if you have a question or something wholesome to say, feel free to comment. Thanks for watching.
That is fucking retarded. How do you jump over me and do all of my HP? What are you talking about? What am I even supposed to do there? You just went boing, boing, bam, and you just hit me with like 103 meat shot over my head. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's the new Black Ops movie, bro.
Bro's been playing too much finals.